it's raining, which is quite rude. But today I thought I would take you around with us. We're headed into town to do some grocery shopping, and you can see what sort of shops are available and how much everything is going to cost. And I'll come back and I'll talk you through some of the different costs that we've been incurring since we got here to Todos Santos in Baja California Sur. And yeah, we can chat dinero. Hi, I'm Laura, and for the last 4.5 years, I've been living in and traveling around Mexico. For most of that time, Mexico City was my home base, but like many of us, coronavirus changed everything for me last year. Since June of 2020, I've been living month to month in different parts of Mexico, trying to show you, and myself, more of this incredible country. I'm currently in the small Pueblo Mágico of Todos Santos, which is located in the state of Baja California Sur, not far from Los Cabos. Well, the rain didn't stop, but we got our groceries. Woo, and I'm sweating. So let's see how much everything cost.
Beast.
Right, so this is everything that we got. We got avocados and poblanos and garlic and a kilo of rice. We have cilantro, plátanos, bananas, broccoli, yogurt, tomatoes, some foil so we can make our own homemade papas rellenas, a new salsa to try, milks, mushrooms, onions, more dried chilies, some chicken, potatoes, a beautiful papaya, and loads of carrots. I'm gonna have to check the receipt to see how much we spent, but the thing about shopping locally, which I really like about these sort of places, especially like small towns where, like you saw, we went into smaller locally owned stores, it's more hassle than like living in a city like Mexico City where you just pop to the massive grocery store and you can buy everything under one roof. However, if you do have the energy to pop around throughout the week to these different stores, to the carniceria where we went yesterday just to get beef and pork, and then to these other shops to get fruit and veg, and then sort of the Mercado Sol, which is one of the bigger markets here. Bigger markets, but the closest thing to a supermarket that I've seen anyway. You'll definitely save money. So yeah, let me just quickly tell you how much all that cost. So we bought all the fruits and vegetables and the chicken at that same store, the Fruteria Hermano Salgado, for 357 pesos. That is like $15, $16, $17 more or less, which is pretty good. That's all this fruit and vegetable will last us more than a week. So the other Supermercado del Sol, we bought the almond milk, the coconut milk, the yogurt, and the aluminum foil, and that cost us 260 pesos, which is $12 roughly. Again, obviously that sort of stuff costs more. The almond milk costs 43 pesos, the coconut milk 40 pesos, the yogurt is 70. Woo! But it's our breakfast for like 4 or 5 days, so that's the cost of the groceries. The meat we bought yesterday, as you saw, we buy some of the cheaper cuts because we like to like stew the meat with the bone in, chamorro for pork, or chambarete, which is pretty much the same cut but on a cow, I believe. Beef is super affordable, and even chicken is really affordable from this other place. We bought, let's see, pierna, 850 grams of chicken for 22 pesos. That's like $1. That's so cheap. So yeah, like I said, some things are more affordable here than even in Mexico City where we were, shopping at the mercados and stuff. So pretty impressed by that. Makes up for the cost of our bikes. It's actually kind of nice to sit out here in the rain. So the biggest expense, like anywhere, is rent. Obviously our cost of living is a little bit different because we're living month to month. We're looking for places that are fully furnished, which pretty much covers all of our amenities, easy to get to. And yeah, so it limits your search. If you were looking for places to live around here for like a year. There were a few that I found on Craigslist that were as low as 10,000 pesos a month. That's roughly $500 a month. I'm sure that if you came here and started looking around, there are probably for rent signs around where you can rent for maybe a little bit less than that, depending on what neighborhood you want to be in. But I would say that's probably your starting point. That's pretty reasonable for living by the beach, in my opinion. And that's low compared to what I've seen in other places like Puerto Vallarta, and even Mazatlan. That was sort of the going rate there as well. But yeah, we are paying 12,000 pesos for this little casita, but we have access to all the stuff that's around the main house as well, like the barbecue, the pool, there's like ping pong tables and the chess and stuff, and a dog that keeps visiting us all the time, who's not allowed inside. And she knows it. Transportation is definitely something that you have to consider if you're going to live by the beach out here in Baja, because there isn't much public transportation. I saw one taxi in the time that we've been in and out of town now, and it sits outside the bus station, which only takes you to and from like Los Cabos and La Paz, so I haven't seen a bus, like a public bus. I've heard one exists, but I haven't seen it, so I can't tell you how much that is. I don't know. But if you have taken the bus between Pescadero and Todos Santos, please let me know, for everyone in the comments below, how much that bus costs. Because, however, to get from La Paz to here, we spent 160 pesos, which for a sort of 1.5 hour bus journey from the major city to here is somewhat reasonable when you're talking about traveling around central Mexico, from Mexico City to Querétaro or San Miguel de Allende. It can sometimes be 300, maybe almost 400 pesos. So 160 pesos seems reasonable. It's about $7, more or less. So yeah, transportation. All we've got are our bikes. I've shown you guys a video before, but if you're new around here, we bought bicycles to get around. And those bikes were pretty expensive. It's a very small town here. There's only one bike shop, and then there's one bike repair shop. They're separate. And when we spoke to the bike repair shop guy, he told us that like a good price for a bike would be about 2,000 pesos. We couldn't find anyone selling bikes for that price. Even these were used. I checked Craigslist. I messaged people on Facebook. In the end, we got these through private sale through someone on Facebook, who brought them over to us, and we paid 2,500 pesos per bike, about $125. Hoping we can sell them on for basically the same price. We've actually been to the bike repair shop with the bikes, had them tuned up a little bit, tighten the brakes, and sort of like move the seat and everything. So hopefully they'll be in just as good condition in a month or two when we decide to move on and sell them. But yeah, that was hurtful. It was expensive, but we want to get around. We want to explore more. We don't just want to walk in and out of town. We want to be able to get to Cerritos, the beaches down south and stuff. So you gotta do. The last thing I'll touch upon is cost of living for this video is a cost of going out to eat. It's definitely more expensive here in my experience, not just in Todos Santos, but even in La Paz, than on the sort of mainland. Mazatlan is incredibly affordable to go out to eat. Puerto Vallarta has places of varying prices. I haven't been on the East Coast in a while, but there are even like street food spots in Tulum and Playa del Carmen that are more affordable. But even the sort of places that feel like local spots, you go out of your way and you eat things on the street, or you go into smaller places, it's still more than like other parts of Mexico. And I understand it's because, number one, there's a lot of tourists around, but also things just cost more here because they have to get here. It's not as well connected as other parts of Mexico. So going out for a meal, I'll show you some of the menus that places that we've eaten at. But you're looking at fish tacos being about 30 to 35 pesos. If you want shrimp or octopus or something like that, it gets closer to 40 or 45 pesos. Ceviches are upwards of 150 per plate. Again, that's about $7. I know when you're comparing it in dollars, it's not very expensive, but if you do compare it to other places in Mexico, for those of you that have been to lots of different parts of Mexico, you'll know that for a plate of food to be, you know, upwards of 150, 200 pesos, you're looking at usually a much nicer place to eat, somewhere that's not just your average cafe. But even here, like the smaller, more local spots are still, yeah, pretty steep. But yeah, that's what you're looking at with prices to going out to eat. It's not crazy, and there are definitely bargains to be had, but there are also a lot more expensive places. The rain is coming down. I hope you guys found this video helpful. I do my best to be as transparent as possible about cost of things, especially when you're only coming to a place for a short period of time. Obviously, we're only living here month to month, and that's what we could find. It's also high season, it's January, and although the virus has meant a lot of people aren't coming down here, there's still a decent amount of tourists that have come down, a lot of snowbirds that have come down, and it's busy enough, especially for rentals, especially for month-to-month rentals. It's not as easy to find in January as it is to find in July, and that's because it's incredibly hot in July. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really supports my channel. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. And if you'd like to see more regular updates, I post on my Instagram stories every day with photos and things that we're eating, what we're getting up to. So yeah, be sure to follow along there at Eternal Expat, and I will see you next time. Bye.